You see, the return of Ethan from his little excursion to Manhattan with Alexis and Ava has brought back something far more toxic than just bad memories. It seems like the walls are closing in on him, and if you ask me, he is spiraling into a level of desperation that we haven't seen in years. The air in this town feels thick with impending doom, almost as if the ghosts of the past are finally demanding their payment in blood. I have been watching the way the shadows shift in the penthouses and the dim corners of the hospital, and it makes me think that the foundation of everything we hold dear is about to crack right down the middle, leaving us all to wonder who will be left standing when the dust finally settles. If you ask me, Ethan is playing a game of Russian roulette with his own life, and the tragedy is that he does not even realize he is the one holding the gun. We have seen him charm his way out of every corner for decades, but this time, the stakes involve innocent lives, and that is a line he should never have crossed. You can tell by the way his hands trembled just slightly, mind you, that the pressure is getting to him. It seems like the weight of Phoebe and the lingering mystery surrounding Delilah are acting like a noose around his neck. I honestly believe that his desperate attempt to silence Alexis is a clear sign of a man who has lost his moral compass entirely. If he thinks for 1 second that he can bully a woman like Alexis into silence, he clearly has not been paying attention to her track record. She has stared down monsters far worse than him, yet here he is, digging his own grave with every word he speaks, blinded by the fear that his entire world is about to go up in flames. Now, guys, let us talk about Ava for a second. We all know she is the most dangerous person in any room, and the fact that she has caught on to Ethan's scent is pure television gold. You can see the shift in her eyes when she looks at him. It is not just suspicion, it is hunger. She is a predator who knows she has found a wounded animal, and she is going to squeeze every ounce of leverage out of him that she can. If you ask me, this is exactly where Ethan makes his fatal mistake. By trying to outmaneuver Ava, he is essentially inviting the devil to dinner. He believes he can frame her, turn the town against her, and make her the scapegoat for his own sins. But have we learned nothing? Ava thrives in the chaos. The more he tries to suppress the truth, the more explosive the reveal will be. I think we are witnessing the birth of a new, darker version of Ethan, a man who is ready to burn the whole house down just to keep his secrets buried in the cellar. As we look at the psychological toll this is taking on him, it is truly haunting. Imagine the sleepless nights he must be having, constantly looking over his shoulder, wondering if Jason is closing in or if Sonny has already figured out his game. It feels like he is trapped in a maze where every turn leads to a dead end. I suspect that he truly cares about Phoebe, but his love has curdled into an obsession that is toxic to everyone around him. If he continues down this path, he will lose everything he is trying to protect. The irony is absolutely devastating, and as fans, we are forced to watch this train wreck happen in slow motion. I wonder, could it be that his connection to Sidwell is even deeper than we imagined? If those threads of conspiracy are tied to the underworld of Port Charles, then Ethan is not just fighting for his secrets. He is fighting for his survival against forces that don't care about his excuses or his past charms. We are looking at a man who is essentially walking toward a cliff, and he is dragging us all with him. If you ask me, the tension between Alexis and Ava is going to be the pivot point for this entire arc. You have two women who would normally rather see each other miserable, yet they are now forced into this uneasy alliance because they are the only ones holding the keys to the truth. Can you imagine the fireworks when they finally compare notes? It is going to be electric. I think they are going to uncover a trail of breadcrumbs that leads straight to a dark, hidden chamber of secrets that will change everything we know about the recent history of this town. It makes me wonder if they are already being watched. Are there eyes in the shadows? Is someone waiting for them to get just close enough to the edge before pushing them off? The suspense is killing us, and I truly believe that the upcoming weeks are going to be a roller coaster that will leave our heads spinning. We need to be prepared for the fact that the truth might be exposed in the most brutal way possible, leaving no one unscathed. There is a theory circulating that Ethan might be willing to do the unthinkable to keep his secret safe. If he thinks that eliminating the threat, be it Alexis or Ava, is the only way to save his future, then we are looking at a villainous turn that nobody expected. We have seen men in Port Charles go to extremes for family, but this feels different. It feels personal, almost desperate. I keep thinking about the way he looks at the photos of Phoebe, that hollow, terrified expression of a man who knows he is already lost. If he takes that final step into the darkness, there is no coming back. I believe that he is already past the point of no return, and the only question left is how many collateral casualties he will leave behind in his wake. It is a terrifying prospect, one that reminds me of the most intense, gripping storylines we have seen in years. Every time I think I have his motive figured out, the story twists and turns again, leaving us gasping for air. Guys, what if the secret isn't just about the identity of the children? What if there is a massive, systemic cover-up that involves some of the most powerful players in this town? I keep coming back to the idea that Jason might be involved, perhaps unknowingly at first, but his instinct for danger is unmatched. If Jason starts sniffing around, Ethan is as good as dead. I think the writers are setting up a collision course that will force everyone to pick a side. We are talking about a total restructuring of the power dynamics in Port Charles. If this secret blows up, it won't just destroy Ethan. It will potentially wreck the lives of Brooklyn and Chase, who are just trying to build a normal life. The collateral damage is what keeps me up at night. How can they possibly recover if their entire foundation is built on such a massive, ugly lie? It is heart-wrenching to even consider the fallout for the innocent ones caught in this crossfire. I really think we need to pay attention to the way the atmosphere shifts whenever these characters share a scene. The silence is often louder than the dialogue. The way Ethan avoids eye contact, the way Ava tightens her grip on her glass, the way Alexis constantly checks her phone, it all points toward an explosion. It feels like the air is charged with static electricity, just waiting for the lightning to strike. I wouldn't be surprised if the big reveal happens during a high-stakes event where everyone is present, turning a moment of celebration into an absolute nightmare. That is classic soap opera, and it is exactly what we crave. We want the drama, we want the heartbreak, and we want to see these characters pushed to their absolute limits. If you ask me, Ethan is currently the most compelling character on screen, not because he is a hero, but because he is a tragic, broken man who is making all the wrong choices. As we look ahead, I suspect that the truth will come out in pieces, making it even more painful for everyone involved. It won't be a simple confession. It will be a slow, agonizing unraveling of lies. Imagine the moment when the truth hits the public. The shock, the betrayal, the anger, it will be a tidal wave that sweeps through the city. I am already predicting that this will be the defining arc of the year. If you ask me, the writers are doing something incredible by making us feel sympathy for someone who is clearly doing terrible things. That is the genius of it all, guys. We hate what he is doing, but we understand his fear, and that is a dangerous place to be as an audience. It keeps us hooked, wondering if he will ever find redemption or if he is destined to fall into the abyss of his own making. I have been thinking about the role of the law in all of this. Alexis is a legal powerhouse, but even she knows that the law doesn't always deliver justice. If she gets the proof she needs, will she turn him in, or will she be manipulated into silence? I think the temptation to protect her own reputation will be a massive hurdle. It creates such an amazing dynamic where the person meant to represent justice is compromised by her own past mistakes. This is the kind of writing that makes us obsess over every detail. If I were a betting person, I would say that the evidence is going to fall into the hands of the wrong person before it ever reaches the authorities. That is just how things go in this town, isn't it? Nothing is ever clean or easy. Everything is mired in mud, and the more you struggle, the harder it is to get out. Let's talk about the emotional weight of this for a moment. We have seen Ethan as the charming rogue, the man who could talk his way out of a burning building. To see him now, sweating under the pressure of his own conscience, is a total shift in character psychology. I find myself wondering if he even recognizes the man he has become. Is there a kernel of the old Ethan left, or has the secret consumed his entire identity? It is a fascinating study in degradation. I think the turning point will be a moment of absolute vulnerability where he has to choose between his pride and his humanity. If he chooses pride, he is lost forever. If he chooses humanity, he might lose his freedom, but he will save his soul. It is the ultimate dilemma, and I honestly don't know which way he will go. Looking at the broader landscape of Port Charles, I feel like every character is just one secret away from catastrophe. The air is thick with paranoia. You have people looking over their shoulders, whispering in hallways, and hoarding information like it is gold. It is a city built on secrets, and Ethan is just the latest person to become a casualty of that culture. I am genuinely worried about what happens when the truth spills out. It is going to ripple through every family, every business, and every relationship. It will be a total reset. I don't think anyone is ready for the fallout, and that is why I am so obsessed with these upcoming episodes. We are sitting on a powder keg, and the fuse is burning shorter by the second. If you ask me, we should all be prepared for some major character exits or radical transformations. This is the kind of story that usually ends with a bang. I have a feeling that we are building toward a climax that will leave us all speechless. Will Ethan end up behind bars, or will he find a way to disappear into the night once again? Or maybe, just maybe, the truth will be the catalyst for a redemption arc that we never saw coming. There are so many possibilities, and that is what makes this so much fun. I love the mystery, the tension, and the way the show plays with our emotions. I really hope they don't resolve it too quickly. We need to let this story breathe, let the tension build, and let the characters suffer the consequences of their actions. As we approach the end of this current cycle, I want to leave you with one burning thought. If the truth about Phoebe and Delilah is as dark as we suspect, what happens to the people who were lied to? The betrayal is going to be absolute. You have people who have built their entire lives around these characters, trusting them implicitly. When that trust is shattered, the rebuilding process will be long and arduous. It is going to be a fascinating, if painful, journey to watch. I think the writers have a real opportunity here to explore the themes of forgiveness, redemption, and the lasting impact of trauma. It is heavy, it is dramatic, and it is exactly why I love this show so much. I honestly cannot wait to see how it all plays out. Finally, we have to look at the community reaction to all of this. There is such a massive divide in our fan base right now. Some of you are cheering for Ethan, believing he is doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, while others are calling for his head, wanting to see him pay for his deceit. It is truly a polarizing storyline that has everyone talking. I see the comments, I see the debates on social media, and it is clear that this is hitting a nerve. The sheer intensity of the discourse proves that we are all still deeply invested in these characters, no matter how much they frustrate us. It is this passion, this willingness to scream at the television screen that keeps the heartbeat of this show pumping. Whether you want to see justice served or you are rooting for a miracle escape, one thing is certain. We are all holding our breath for the next big reveal, and the divide in our opinions only makes the experience of watching together even more chaotic and memorable.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.